Traveling Europe. Traveling Europe. Stories from my life. Grandma's porch. Sit down, relax, enjoy. Here on Grandma's porch. Traveling Europe. Traveling Europe. Hello, y'all. I'm Dianna Brianne. Well, I'm sharing little bits and pieces from my life, little snippets, little stories, and they're not in chronological order. But I've been really wanting to come up light for air. Some of the stories I've been telling, though, are not all light, but most of them are. And many of these stories I've told a year ago, and some of them I'm giving more details. Some of them are brand new stories, and some of them are repeats. But for so many new people I have on my channel, I just wanted to read you some of these stories. And so I wanted to talk about my travels in Europe. Well, my husband and I've talked about this in other videos called Moving to Europe and Life in Europe. And you can go back and look at some of those wonderful videos. And I talk a lot about our life in Europe and how wonderful it was. We lived there about 5 years. And during that time, we traveled a lot. We had a green pickup truck, an American green pickup truck with a cap on the back that we could sleep in the back. And we had a little white BMW convertible. So between those two vehicles, we traveled all over. We even went to England by taking it on the ferry boat. And this is before they had the underground tunnel there. We flew to Ireland. We just traveled all over. One of my favorite trips was going to Italy and just driving down to Italy. We were in the green pickup truck, and we'd been to Italy before, and we were going back, but this was a bigger trip. We were going to Venice, we were going to Rome, we were going through Milan, we were going to Florence. All of those places were beautiful, and the drive was magical and beautiful. And on the way, we stayed in Liechtenstein. I never even knew it was a country. I didn't even know where Liechtenstein was. Very small country, somewhere around Austria. Beautiful Alps, beautiful mountains. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. And I was very frugal back then, and I packed us, I think this was a different trip, but it was one of our European trips. I don't think it was the trip to Italy, but anyhow, it might have been. It might have been one of our trips to Italy. And I packed a picnic basket. I put us on a $75 a month food budget. I made homemade bread, and I remember making bacon egg sandwiches on homemade bread that I had made, and everything was homemade in this picnic basket. And we pulled over in Liechtenstein, overlooking these beautiful, beautiful Alps and beautiful mountains on a beautiful day, pulled down the back of the truck, and we were sitting on the back of the truck eating these wonderful sandwiches out of my picnic basket, out of this beautiful wicker basket that I had, and I still think I have that basket to this day. And we were sitting on the back of the truck overlooking these beautiful Liechtenstein Alp mountains. And that was just such a wonderful memory. And we had so many other memories equal to that, just like that, throughout our 5 years together, because we did a lot of traveling regularly, mainly on weekends, but also big trips. And so the one time we went to Rome, we got there late. So we parked the truck down by the Colosseum, the famous Colosseum, and we parked it up kind of next to a brick wall. So we backed it in there. And since we got there late, we decided just to sleep in the back of the truck that night and just go out and have fun and then come back and sleep there. And then the next day we can find a hotel. And so that's what we did. We went out, we had a wonderful time in Rome. And so we ended up going back to the pickup truck, and my husband had had, a beer or two, so he fell right to sleep in the back of the truck. Well, middle of the night, these bandits come and they're looking in and peeping in, and oh my gosh, I was terrified. Couldn't wake up my husband. So I just started acting like a crazy woman, and I made ugly faces and started shouting at them, and they took off. I woke my husband up finally. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And so I said, let's get out of here. So we did. We ended up going down to the Vatican and waiting for it to open. And then we went in for a tour. But then my husband couldn't get in because he had shorts on, not pants. So he said, you go by yourself. I said, no. You go back to the truck and change clothes and come back, and which he did. So the Vatican was amazing. It was an amazing, beautiful, beautiful place. And so then we went to Pisa. And I remember just the people were so friendly and so wonderful, and we couldn't find a hotel, but right at the last moment someone canceled and we got this motel room, and it was wonderful. And so we did a lot of traveling. Another time we were going to one of the former Eastern Bloc countries, and it was winter, it was freezing, it was cold, and we switched trains from this like super train to this like old dilapidated train once we got to the border. And it was like a really old dilapidated train, like from the 1930s. And we were on that, and we had like a little sleeping car, but we had to share it with this man. So I held onto my passport really tightly, but he was really nice. And in the middle of the night, the train caught on fire. So they had to stop the train out in the middle of nowhere, and it was like 0 degrees weather, or maybe even colder. It was really, really cold and snowing. And we thought we all had to get off of the train, and the men were kind of arguing with each other who started the fire with the cigarette. Somebody had been smoking a cigarette. Finally, they got the fire put out, and then we were able to continue on our journey. And, we were always having little, fun adventures constantly, it seemed. We were visiting castles all the time. We just, and we met other Americans over there, so we were able, you build some really close friendships when you, are in another country, and you meet people from your country. And so we just had this amazing time. It was just all amazing and wonderful, traveling on weekends. And I remember one time, the first time we ever went to France, we crossed the border and we got a flat tire. And remember, we had just gotten there. I mean, well, you didn't know that, but we had just gotten to Europe, and here now we're broke down with our truck, and our truck had one of those little spare tires. So all of a sudden we're changing a tire out in France where we don't know where we're at. And now we don't even have a spare tire because that is our spare tire. And so now we're on this little tire going through France, But we used to go to France a lot. We loved France. And, of course, Germany and Austria, gorgeous, Liechtenstein, and, of course, Italy and Poland was just gorgeous, and Holland and Ireland and England and all those countries. They were just such magical, magical places. Czechoslovakia. They were all beautiful, beautiful. And I'm so grateful that I had that time. And my husband and I were, young enough to really be able to do all these things. And also that was before children. So we had the freedom and the luxury of being able to travel, so that when we had children, we didn't have any strong desire to travel. Although we later got a motorhome, 2 motorhomes, and we traveled 48 states with our kids as a family. So, but the European trips were really just my husband and I, and they were amazing and so much fun. And we just had such a wonderful, magical time in Europe. And I've talked about, my other experiences, my day-to-day experiences, going to the market and buying bread on my bicycle, and our little apartments and everything while we lived there in a little house. And All those wonderful experiences are in other videos, but this one was mainly about, just traveling. We traveled a lot. Sometimes there were little itty bitty trips, sometimes there were great big trips, and it was just wonderful. And one of my favorite trips was to Mount St. Michel. That was where that water comes in and surrounds it like a big fortress island. Mount St. Michel, if you haven't ever seen pictures of it, it's like a castle, medieval castle, and it's real. I mean, it's like a real city out, and it gets surrounded by water, and then the water goes back out, a couple times a day. So it was amazing and wonderful. So we've had so many trips. I could just go on and on and on, but I just want to share that with you, stories from my life. So may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe to all 5 of my channels. Links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. If you connect with me, I will likely connect with you as well. So from my house to yours, I hope to talk to you soon again. May God bless you. Bye-bye. Porch, a place to relax and a place to enjoy. Grandma's Porch.